Welcome to the My EQ podcast. My name is Dave Clinton.
I am Joe Butler.
This is a podcast about mastering your mind and mastering your emotions.
First topic of the day. How do you know when you've outgrown someone?
You want to get in there? What you want to do?
So, I think there's a lot of factors as to when you know you've outgrown someone. First, being that this is a podcast about emotional intelligence, you first have to know like your standards, like what you stand for, your zero tolerances, and kind of what you're able to deal with. That's what I'll say first. The tricky thing about knowing if someone outgrown you is having a relationship with yourself first. So you gotta know kind of like where you are, where you're standing, like how you feel about certain things, your career, where you're going. And I think you can't just put one like isolation on like, okay, I know this person has outgrown me. I think there's a myriad of things that happens. Maybe your communication starts to lack. Maybe you feel like you can't communicate with this individual no more. And every time you try to discuss with your partner certain things, they shut down. They don't speak to you in a particular way. They're not respecting, right, your communication or your time or your efforts. So I'll start with first communication. If you can't communicate effectively, how is that relationship going to continue? If that person is not respecting or valuing you, I think that's another thing that you may know, okay, I'm outgrowing this situation. And then just a third point is you have to identify personally how much patience that you're willing to give and understanding if you're giving all that you can give. So I'll start with that: communication, respect, and patience. So if I know that this person isn't respecting my time, they're not respecting what I'm saying to them, I'm voicing, hey, this is how I like quality time. And if you're not able to spend quality time with me, maybe, we're not in that right standings. I think, and I want you to kind of let me know, like personally, I think like to go into a situation with a baseball methodology, 3 strikes you're out, or, we like to hoop. So we looking at the scoreboard, I put up 10 points this week, no points was given. I think like you have to demolish that ideology. And you really have to assess like, okay, we like women, you know what I mean? So speaking from that standpoint, we understand we operate logically and they operate more emotionally. So sometimes you do have to look at, are you extending enough flexibility to understand their standpoint? But you have to identify your breaking point as well.
So I think I'm trying to sum up everything you just told me.
Mm-hmm.
So you think it is respect, and you think it is, what was the other two?
Respect, communication, and patience.
Communication and patience.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Now I like it, but I'm the opposite in.
Okay.
I'm the 3 strike rule. I'm with that.
Why do you have that mentality? What?
Because I feel like you have to give people an opportunity to fix a solution or
Right.
fix a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going about fixing the problem, you can't then say because you pointed out the issue that they should fix it immediately, because as human is programming,
Right.
like, and you're now trying to unprogram something that was, you don't even know why you've done it for so long. You still have to figure out what's the source and then fix the problem. So that takes time. So the 3 strike rule for me is, okay, I told you once, we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Told you twice, we talked about it. The third time, like for me, you are not putting in the effort I need for you to fix that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the original question of how do you know you outgrew it? It's funny you went to a relationship. I go to friendship. And the reason why I go to friendship is I hung out with a lot of dudes that, for lack of a better term, is kind of hood. So I remember them going over his house every week and we kind of smoking, we chilling, we go to the club, rinse and repeat, smoke, chill, go to the club. And after one point, I'm like, yo, man, we're going to do this every week.
Yeah.
And I kind of figured like I'm the person in the room, and I had to think about it like everyone's kind of like, damn, why you kind of bringing us down? That's what we do every week.
Uh-huh.
And I had to figure out, in that moment, I knew I outgrew everyone.
Okay.
Because I'm the person in the room bringing everyone down. And I'm like, yo, we could be doing other things. We could be traveling. We could be going here. But what if they didn't want to travel?
Right.
What if that wasn't their reality? What if that their reality is what they're doing kind of right now is we go to the club, we smoke, we drink, and that's good. Like, who am I to pull that person out of this because I have these dreams and I have these aspirations that other person might not have. So it's unfair for me, just as like, that's how I know how good them. It's unfair for me to pull them in my reality, and it's unfair for them them to pull me in their reality. So we got to do something else. So that's when I had to switch it.
Okay. So to close it up, when you was talking about the 3 strike, I want to close it up with this. The reason why I don't subscribe to a 3 strike ideology is because sometimes you're going to give probably more strikes than what you necessarily think you're giving. And so I think ultimately I'm operating more on a marriage standpoint. Communication, I lay out, hey, these are my expectations. And then I do give zero tolerances. So I do let a person know, like, if you do this, man, like I feel like we can't come back from there. It's just like if a person try to rob me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to forgive you because I feel like that's just a part of my process. But after that, I've outgrown that situation.
All right, next topic, fellas. Would either one of you date someone that one of your men smashed?
For me, that is a hard pass. And the reason why I say, I mean, I'm not mature enough to do that because I feel like that's messy for me because now, even though it's almost like we're sharing, but we're not sharing.
Eskimo brothers.
Eskimo brothers.
Who would be Eskimo brothers?
That's an interesting terminology. I never heard that, but
Yeah.
I'm willing to rock with that. I
Eskimo.
can't do that because I feel like, and it could be something that's like immature, but I feel like I don't really experience something that someone else that close to me experienced.
Like, why you call it immature though? Why can't you be mature to say, listen, my man's pop, I want no parts of that?
Because I mean, if you really love, I guess in the spirit of love, if you really love somebody, it shouldn't matter about their past experiences, right? If it's somebody that fits your criteria, like if I have a profile, I want somebody that can communicate at a high level. I want somebody that can talk life into me, speak life into me, that can I guess help me with ideas and push them in the forefront and rein me in when I need to be reined in and show me like love when I need love, but also be kind of like, I got this profile. So if that person fits that profile, why does it matter if she smashed you, I guess?
All right, first of all, like, I think that should be a part of your vetting process. Like, for me, I want to know some of these things. Now, I understand that you're not going to know every guy that this woman has been with. I get that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And it's tricky because you could start liking this person, and then longer down the line, you find out
I was about to throw the monkey wrench in there.
that she popped you in.
So what if it was like you was talking to her for a couple months, right?
Right.
Then I come by, you like, yo, I'm having a kickback. D, come through. And I come through your party. She's like, yo, Joe, I gotta tell you something.
Yeah.
Do you cool with Dave?
So
we worked out.
So let me segue that, right? So in that case, I give leniency. You see what I'm saying? Because I didn't know. It's kind of, and you might call that dirty macking.
No, it's not. That's why I say you more mature than me. I don't know if I can do that.
I've already popped. If I've already popped, then I can't reverse that. We've already changed bacteria.
No, I get what you're saying. But what if it's like, yo, you've been dating for a couple while. You've been dating for like 4 to 5 months, and y'all are now past the stage of just casual to like, I want this to be something serious. And then let's say I come over to your house and you're the kickback. She's like, I gotta tell you something. Yeah. Because we're serious. I mess with the homie.
All right. You ready for ready for me to keep it all the way 1,000?
Keep it 1,000.
Is he better than me? That's what I want to know.
Damn.
I want to know that.
Ready for that.
I want to know, is he better than me?
Yeah, I wasn't ready for
Because that question right there is going to let me know how I move. And you better talk to me nice.
Time out. Well, why you want to know that, dog?
Yo,
You should never wanna know that.
that's going to live in my psyche.
What if she's
and,
like,
and
yo,
I'm going to be
Dave,
like, yo, I
what
don't
if she-
want
what if
want you no more.
But what if she be like, yo,
Go back to him.
They blew my back out. Like,
Yo,
how you
okay.
feel about
All
that?
right. We'll put them old grandmother threes on them slides and kick it.
You one of them dudes. You take your ball and go home.
Yes. And I ain't upset about it. I'm taking my ball and go home. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm more of an upfront individual. So, like, I've even had women where, lastly, I've even had women where I know I dealt with a homegirl.
But it's different.
But we keeping it. We gonna keep it here
It's different
right now, right?
Male ego's fragile, son.
That's understandable, but the difference with me is up front. If you tell me, listen, I like you, you're a cool dude, but I mess with your homie, it's a no deal for me. If we started to build a relationship, build a
That's what I'm talking
bond,
about.
we hanging out, we kicking it, we cooling, man, it's fair game after that.
And then she be like, they go that man. Like, I come over to the party, but they go that man right there.
Yeah, she coming over talking about, yo, your man's got the third leg. I'm out.
All right, there it is, man. I can't.
My ego is hurt. I am hurt.
I
Yo,
don't know,
speaking of
man.
dating someone,
Yup.
what do y'all think about that chick that said she would not date the bus driver?
So, hot topic this week, Ebony K. Williams, an anchor, known lawyer, very accomplished woman. I think she is a millionaire, well acclaimed, prestigious, went to college, and said that she would date the owner of the bus, but not the bus driver. And we both know that we have anomalies to the rule, basically meaning there are people who are average people, like there's an old school book called The Millionaire Next Door, where there are people who live within their means, they save, they're doing well off. And I think people living content with their lives get a bad rep, first off. But it's a two-edged sword with that, because I understand that a person who went to college, put in that time and effort, has reached a certain social class, chooses to date a certain social class. And there is a now phenomenon or a normal thing that women date up, or they try to date the highest quality guy that they can. So, and I think that all revolves around relatability, right? You try to date someone from their state, because let's say she was in a sorority, she was an AKA or a Delta. They may be picky in what they want. They might not want a guy who's rough around the edges, who's not an entrepreneur. Like, it seems like entrepreneurs want to date other entrepreneurs. Why? Because you're not going to blow up my phone if I don't answer. You understand I'm working. You understand I don't have a 9 to 5. I have a different flow. And so I don't knock her for having a preference, because that's her preference. And we're here, we can have a preference. And so that's my standpoint on it. Personally, most women that I attract are college educated, like more college educated than I am. Master's degree, doctorate degree. And I think you may say, well, how do you attract those women? It's a look, it's the way that you talk, the way you carry yourself, the way you act. And that goes back to relatability. And they want to see how ambitious you are, what you bring into the table, and etc. Because at the end of the day, money goes but for so far. And what I mean by that is, bro, after you get to a certain level of achievement in career, you can only buy a bigger house, a nicer car, a nicer vacation, right? Once you get the essentials, it's just about more luxury. And so I think, once you have worked your way to a certain point and you feel like you deserve those things, don't just say you deserve it because you are living in an entitlement, but you have an actual dossier, and a resume to prove like this is what I deserve, because I put this amount of hours in. I put my 10,000 hours in, so this is what I deserve. It's just like if you go to the doctor, you want to see something on the wall to show that he's certified, right?
Yes, but
Go ahead.
I agree. I guess not agree, but I understand what you're saying. But I think where this question really comes and originated from is how women nowadays look at what is the ideal guy.
Okay.
and I feel like social media has really damaged like what a good dude is. Like I feel like there's 10% of dudes that are getting this bag the way that 80% of these women want.
Right.
So you got 80% of women chasing 10% of dudes.
Okay.
So these 10% of elite dudes, it's only 10% of them. So you're telling me, and I've talked to a woman, and she's like, oh, I know this dude that is a manager at, I don't want to blow it up, but let's say like a manager at, I don't know, Forever 21, whatever. I'm just throwing something out there. And she's like, yo, he's kind of corny because he's worked there as a manager. I'm like, why is he corny? Because he worked, like this dude has a job, and he's a manager, and he's worked there for 3 years, and he's obviously advanced his career. What makes him not the standard anymore? And I think the standard has been shifted because everyone's lifestyle, quote unquote, is like Instagram and at this level, and everyone has to be this level to be that dude.
What does she do as a career though?
I don't want to put that up there.
What I'm saying,
like I said, she has
is she well off?
She has a pretty good career.
Okay, so
she has a 6-figure.
Okay, so that's kind of goes back to what I'm saying. If you have a woman who has reached a certain level of acclaim and a certain level in their professional career, you can't be upset if they try to pair themselves with someone who is similar. It's just like a woman who is a judge. A woman who's a judge or who's a lawyer is probably not going to go for a sanitation worker.
So then don't feel a certain type of way if you just because you have a person of that standard doesn't mean that they're that person. They just have the credentials. Just because somebody has
that's a bar right
there. Yeah, just because people have credentials, right? Like I can have all the credentials in the world. Right. I got an MCP, I got an MCSC, and then I get a job and I don't know shit. Because that's what we call a paper tech.
Right.
You have all the certifications, but you don't have the experience. So for me, if I'm chasing that woman, I just gave you my profile of my ideal woman.
Right.
If she worked at Target and she was the manager for 3 years, you think I'd be like, nah, I don't want you because you work at Target.
But Dave,
then you really didn't want that Dave, profile.
Here's the thing though, we're talking about a woman and a man. Men have a tendency to date down. There's even a saying now that like guys are on a scale from 1 to 12, and basically a 12 guy, right, who's a millionaire, who's attractive, whatever, 6-figure, 6-pack abs, 6 foot in his pants or whatever, right? He ends up dating a 10. That's what they're saying now, because men have a tendency to date down and women have a tendency to date up. So we can both agree that women can be delusional in what they want. And after, shout out to KS, rest in peace to the Godfather, he talked about how a woman hits the wall. So it's a period of time to where in their earlier 20s, they say, oh, I want the baller, I want the this. Then once they hit 30s, early 30s, reality starts to hit. And they realize a lot of these guys in those positions that's making that type of money, they're not even looking for them. Because most guys don't want a woman who has like the same trait as they have, like go-getters, ambition. Like you want a woman who's going to be submissive, who's going to listen to you. And I know maybe your profile of what you're looking for may be different. But what I'm saying is, I think a lot of women have taken the trait of being the go-getter and the breadwinner and to get after it, because maybe this whole change of average or good man, it's like a good man's not good enough no more. They want great. And we both know everybody's not going to be great in the eyes of whatever woman.
10%.
That's
like,
true.
so if you had 80% chase at 10%,
I understand.
You're saying the same thing. I
agree.
The good dude now has been demoted.
Yeah.
Like it's no longer good just to be a good dude that come home, that take care of you, that want to know how you feel.
Right.
Like you got to do all that, and you got to be built like The Rock, and you got to have you have a millionaire bank account. Like you got to be emotional but not emotional. Like you got to be mad if you got to be the LeBron of dudes. So.
Yeah. And that, unfortunately, that if you have a son now, you're not telling him, you're not giving him a participation trophy. Like if I have a child, he's not getting a participation trophy, because everybody doesn't get a trophy, right? You need to be the best of the best at whatever you do and nothing less. And I think women have taken that persona of I want the best of the best, and only reality for them. It's only so many guys that run through them, knock them down till they get to the point where they're like, okay, I'll pick the manager, you know what I'm saying, in the financial industry. It's up to them.
Some were born with greatness, others born with hatred. The Lord awaits me, but before I'm gone, I'm caking. Getting it on for kids, making child, all the kids just witnesses. Random straight shots hit the innocent. I wonder when I'm high zoning. Why I seen so much shit at a young age if I'm the chosen. Pops told me that this flow of mine, JC and GoldenEye.